Hi, welcome. It's attorney Mark Blane coming from sunny San Diego, California. And in this video, I'm going to share some insider secrets on what the defense does on motorcycle crash cases in California. And I'll be getting my information from my book I just published this year, 2020. You can get a free copy. It's the California Motorcycle Collision Legal Survival Book, and it's available on my website. Just go to the homepage, click on free information. You can download it from there. But let's get started. So, the first thing that the defense is going to do on a motorcycle crash case is focus on the uniqueness of a motorcycle crash. Why is it unique? Well, first of all, there's not a lot of people who have active riding motorcycle experience at any given time. For example, in California, there's just under 1 million people who are registered as motorcyclists. But the population of the state of California is over 40 million people. So if your case ever goes all the way to trial, there's going to be some people on the jury that do not have any motorcycle riding experience. Okay, so that's going to leave that uniqueness ripe for exploiting by the defense, and I'll explain why in just a second. The other thing that they're going to focus in on is the fact that if you're injured as a motorcyclist, the injuries tend to be more serious than if you were rear-ended in a car where you have protection of the car. So just by the very nature of motorcycle crash cases tending to be very more serious in injuries, that too gives the defense focus to formulate their defense. And so what they're going to do is take those two factors and flip it and try to make it that you were an unsafe motorcyclist, and they'll examine your experience level, and they do this in several ways by exploiting our own biases from what we see on the freeway. Think about it this way. How many of you have been driving down a California freeway and been startled or frightened by a motorcyclist lane splitting? And usually it's unsafely lane splitting memories that you remember, right? Well, everybody, because we do remember the bad apples in the bunch. Remember, 95% of all motorcyclists are safe and they obey the safety rules of the road, but it's the 5% that we remember, and those are especially with lane splitting being legal here, which means that in California, the motorcyclists can ride down the white line of a given lane on a freeway between cars. That's legal, as long as it's done safely. But a lot of times we will remember the ones that are done unsafe. And so that's exactly what the defense is going to utilize and structure their defense from the very beginning all the way through trial. They will, if they can, they will allege, if facts support it, that you might have been unsafely lane splitting just before the crash. Only on certain cases. If there's other facts of the case, then they'll allege something else. But I'm focusing on lane splitting here as one of the major defense tactics that they will do, because a lot of times motorcycle collision cases occur on the freeway. And so that's sometimes where they can use that argument. And I know this firsthand because I had a case where my guy was going on the 94 westbound and he was hit by a truck who didn't see him. My guy was in the middle of the lane controlling it safely. Truck comes over during rush hour and just kind of plows into him. In that case, they alleged unsafe lane splitting, even though there was really no basis for it. And we even had a witness behind testifying in deposition that there was no lane splitting. But the point being is they will pound this home because they are counterpunchers, and if they can make anything stick on the wall, ultimately in front of a mediation, arbitration, or jury trial, they will do that. And so keep that in mind. So how do you position yourself? How do you, first you need an experienced lawyer that knows this tactic and will actually ask you questions about why you're not an unsafe motorcyclist. For example, in that case, we reviewed my client in terms of his experience and riding level, and so it turned out that he was in charge of safety on the Navy base here in San Diego, where he would check people in the military on safety because there's certain precautions that you have to take when you're on a military base and you're riding a motorcycle. He was in charge of that. So I got all the certifications from his safety training, and what that does, it tells people, whether it goes to a jury trial or a mediation or claims rep, that my client went above and beyond just the minimal DMV standards of testing to be competent on a motorcycle. So the more safety certifications you have, that can be used as evidence later to show the jury or judge or arbitrator that you were not this unsafe motorcyclist that most people remember on the roadway. And that's one way to flip that strategy that the defense is going to do every time on any motorcycle crash case that they can, is to allege these things. So keep that in mind. The second thing they're going to look at beyond you as the motorcycle rider and being unsafe is your motorcycle. And if the motorcycle is looking unsafe, they will utilize that in their defense. For example, in my case, he was on what's called a speed rocket, where you're lying forward, so it looks like a really fast motorcycle. It's got that Z pattern where you see the arms and the torso, or the body and the legs. And so, so he was on one of those motorcycles. And so people have an inherent bias as that being more unsafe than maybe a cruiser or chopper. So by having those safety certifications, we can overcome those arguments. And so just know, if you have anything on your bike that indicates unsafe business, in that case, he had a skull and bones on his motorcycle. You want to flip that by showing everything that you were doing safe, okay? And so if that means you only ride at daylight hours, never at nighttime, you have people to support that, it all helps in your case. And these are things that you need to be aware of, because if you're riding a motorcycle, this is the first thing that a defense is going to do to try to tear away at your case and devalue it. And so it's important. So make sure you're with a lawyer that understands this, understands how to navigate that issue, and win your case, because you're entitled to the damages from someone not following the safe driving rules. You were depending on those safe driving rules when you were on the freeway that day, and you depended that other people would do the same. So the rule of reciprocity is in these cases. All right, so if you need any more information, I've got like 50 different things that the defense does on these cases. This is just one of like 50. It's the tip of the iceberg in terms of what you're going to be facing on a motorcycle crash injury case. If you want more information, go to my website, download this book. It's just hot off the presses, packed with information. If you need anything, you can reach out to me, call me, email me, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll do some more videos on lane splitting, because it's such a type of defense that's always utilized. So I'll be doing some more videos on that. If you need anything else, let me know. Comment on the video below, and we'll go from there. All right, so have a great day, and thanks for watching. Take care.